So how does this war, its rising costs, play into our politics when affordability is such a big question? I want to ask Trump's former press secretary, Sean Spicer, and the host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast, Chris Hahn. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Chris, I'll start with you. So I understand that you argue that even though they're talking about a $200 billion price tag to fund the continuation of the war, you think the president is going to declare victory sometime soon. I can hear you already skeptical about what that could mean, because the pushback that I will have is, and I'm already assuming what you're going to argue, I feel the president wouldn't declare that unless he really does believe there's a victory. There's a reason, it seems to me, that he's been waiting to even say it, because they are degrading Iranian capabilities, military capabilities. I've mentioned it before. They're taking on a lot of Iranian leadership. But you don't believe, you think there's going to be maybe a premature announcement of victory?
Oh, 100%. And I don't think the president has to believe anything to say it, because that's the way he's always acted. I think he's going to do exactly what Bush did. He's going to say victory, and then he's going to say, you know what? We need some Marines to protect the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, and then let's put some more troops over here to shore up this resource. And before you know it, we have 100,000 men and women in uniform in Iran for the next 20 years. $200 billion? That does not sound like a short-term solution to me. It sounds like this man is gearing up. I would first say, what do you do with the $1 trillion we gave you for defense this year already, Mr. President? And why didn't you come to Congress or our allies to try to discuss the pros and cons of going to war? I do not understand how MAGA still supports this man when he has lied to them at every turn. He has not put America first. He told them specifically he would not go to war in Iran. Yet here we are.
Well, I don't have the president to answer you, but I do have Sean Spicer, and we love Sean. So, Sean, I'm going to have you have an opportunity to respond to Chris, but I also want to ask you about this $2 billion price tag, because why ask for so much at this point? I mean, I mentioned before, it's been $20 billion. Why not ask for a smaller amount now, when I mentioned the optics of it, what it could be used to help Americans here at home? So two questions, your response to Chris, and B, why ask for $200 billion right now?
Yeah, I don't even know where to start with what Chris said. I mean, there's so much to respond to that doesn't make sense, and frankly, it's just out of intellectual bounds. But I'll start with your question, because that at least makes sense.
We'll try
he's asking for $200 billion. He's asking for $200 billion because you don't want to go back to Congress over and over again with your hand out. You want to do it once, get it over with. And the way the military works, and I will take a minute just to explain to Chris how the process works, that during the years of Afghanistan and Iraq, the budget that any department receives is their normal appropriation. What we call OCO funding, Overseas Contingency Operations, fund things not in the budget that go to day-to-day training, go to day-to-day equipment, housing, et cetera, that the military uses and needs on a regular programmatic basis, right? So weapon systems, things that you purchase, et cetera, planning for ships.
It's a great argument, Sean.
Chris, hold on. Chris, we're not going to do this thing where you talk over him. We're not going to. I want to get the point.
I mean, look, we don't have enough time to explain how government works to Chris. But the bottom line is the president's going to go to Congress.
Chris, hold on one sec. Sean, I want to go back to you just to put a point on it, because just to respond to what Chris is saying. I hear you. The counter argument would be, when you look at other conflicts, like the war in Libya was $1.1 billion, Kosovo war $5 to $6 billion, $200 billion. Again, people might look at this and say, is Chris right? Is this going to be a 20-year occupation?
So right now, the burn rate is between $3 and $5 billion a day, just in terms of the weapon systems they're using and a lot of the movements that are needed. I think the Department of War is basically trying to do this in one foul swoop. Does it mean that they're going to stay there that long? No. But every military plan that's on the book, the OPO plans, have a length. Short, long, they're basically making the bet that we'd rather go to Congress once, ask for everything that we need, and have extra to give back, than to have to go every month and ask for another appropriation. And considering the way the political winds burn, I understand that strategy.
So, Chris, I'll go back to you, and the way I'll counter you with this one is to say, let's say this works out. What do I mean by that? Let's say, and we have the board that we could put up of Iranian leadership, including the new supreme leader. Let's say they're all taken out. Okay, let's say, for example, you have the people of Iran actually have a participation in their government. They made change. We take one of our key enemies off the map right now. It changes the whole world dynamic. How's that a bad thing?
Not a bad thing. Just hasn't happened in our recent history, has it? right? I think we're going to have to ignore the last 2 decades. I know you're a lot younger than me, Jesse, but you're not that much younger than me. You remember the war in Iran and Afghanistan. You know how that turned out. So why does Trump think he's going to be able to do it any differently and only do it via using airstrikes? It's ridiculous. The whole concept is ridiculous. He should have gone to Congress and the American people and made his case before he acted, because that's what the founders intended. He did not do it. Now when he goes and asks for this money, he's going to have to show his strategy to Congress, and he does not have one.
So let me talk about the Americans. Sean, I'll go to you. You haven't given up on the midterms yet. If we're talking about the optics of this, how this is going to play into voting, you haven't given it. You say, despite the warnings today, by the way, from Goldman Sachs, that we're headed for $100 a barrel oil for quite some time to come, that the voter data trend might give you some hope, give Republicans some hope?
Yeah, and also, look, I just want to be blunt about something that the president is considering. When you go back to, we get about 2% of our oil from the Middle East. The rest of it is domestically produced. Part of the reason that we're in this is the president hasn't called for a market cap in terms of production, right? So you've got Asia and Europe buying their oil from us, which is helping to drive up. If he were to lock in domestic oil production here, our prices would drop. There are some other economic consequences that would hail from that. So he's got to be careful. Okay. But he does have the ability to do a lot of things domestically. So if we get to a point where we're in late April, May, I know the president's been brought a lot of options that would allow him to take oil prices down, everything from the short term to the medium term to the long term. The bottom line is this. We have pushed all of our chips to one side of the table. Right. If the economy is not kicking in July and August, it doesn't matter anyway. Right. So they know that. They're well aware of that. We've got the money to fund the campaigns on the ground and on the air. I think that they're very well aware of when the midterms are. And so we will see the appropriate economic measures taken before then.
Chris, I'm going to give you the final word. Democrats hoping for high gas prices? Is that what they're hoping for right now?
No. Nobody wants high gas prices, but the incompetence of this administration knows no bounds. If they put a market cap on oil in the United States, it'll cause a global depression that will hit the United States as well. The Congress is going Democratic. There is nothing that Trump could do at this point to stop that. So is the Senate, and so are several states that we're not even thinking about.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.